Hi, and welcome to Sailboat Ads, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Thank you for joining me once again for an exploration of sailboats in and around our country. Today we're going to, let's call it Lake Michigan, because one of my listings is actually on the east side of the lake in Michigan, and one side is, and I have a couple listings that are in Wisconsin. Interestingly, my family lived on both sides of that. My mom was born in Wisconsin and she lived much of her life in Muskegon, and I have been on Muskegon Lake, which is a very pretty little lake. Um, Anyhow, let's get to the ads, and we're going to start with one I've never heard of, which is kind of unusual because I've heard of just about everything out there. So this is a 1977 Chaser 33 for only $3,000. And when I see, a substantial yacht like this that's under 10 grand, I am always interested. My interest is piqued. So this is, even though this is a boat I'm not familiar with, it is a designer I'm familiar with. This is a Peterson 3/4 ton, stored neglected for the last 8 years, has a Volvo 13 horsepower diesel, needs work in TLC, currently sitting in a storage lot on a trailer. Trailer would need tires replaced before it can be hauled any distance. Boy, is that truth. Um, so right away, yeah, you can see neglect. The hull itself just looks like it's a little oxidized, but these looks like crummy patches here. So let's get to our photos. Um, yeah, boy, the first thing that just absolutely screams at you is this probably not only needs new tires, it's going to need 3 axles worth of new bearings, and maybe even new wheels. So before you could even move this, you're probably looking at $1,000 to get the bearings fixed in all sides of that thing. That'd be a big job. Another close up of our rudder. The keel looks terrible. This looks like teenagers zip farm. It looks just absolutely like patches here, patches there. This could very well be water that's underneath the skin or underneath the paint. This boat really needs to be lifted so you could get to the bottom of the keel itself. I mean, as a hull shape, it looks nice. It looks fast. Um, Flat bottom, thin keel. This was definitely designed to the old IOR back in the 70s and 80s, with pinched ends and fat in the middle. Yeah, more rot to repair. Folding propeller. Be interested to see if that works. And then holy Toledo. And I just continue to be astounded with people taking pictures of boats. And I get it, this is a mess. But couldn't you gotten the power washer out and gotten this dirt off? That just seems like a kind of a no-brainer. Two spreader mast, which is kind of unusual and looks like a stout spinnaker pole here. I mean, the hardware in this thing's probably worth the 3 grand. You get cabin top winches. You get a couple of, I'll bet those are 2-speed primaries. Um, Lots of instruments. Hard to say what's in there. Is that those look like they're just old school electronics and probably don't work anymore. Almost certainly don't work anymore. But you've got port and starboard. Um, what do you call these things? Compass. So that if you're sitting on either side, you can eyeball it. This one looks like it's either completely failed or gone. This one looks like it's still in there. Then we go down below, and boy, does it get worse. I just feel terrible for boats that end up like this. And unfortunately, 3,000 is too much, even for a 33 footer. You have serious damage on the floor, the cabin sole. A lot of this wood is pretty seriously damaged. There's obviously been water ingress. You've got some leaky bolts right there. And if there's leaky bolts there, there's probably leaky bolts in other places. Um, yeah, there you go. There's 3 or 4 or 5 more, and from the top ones too. Um, doesn't look like a terrible design back in the day. Probably really more of a racer on the racer cruiser spectrum, but yeah, clutter, junk, wear. This has not been very well maintained. I'll bet you several steak dinners that this engine doesn't work. So you're probably looking at, $1,000 just in labor to go through this thing and get it running plus parts. Um, you can see bare plywood on the ceiling here. Well, there are instruments. Um, sure didn't look like there was much going on there. Pretty basic layout. This is pretty cramped for a 33 footer. Sink. This will be your cooker. Cold storage back there in the corner. A couple of very ancient beers. Not sure I would want to crack one of those open. So this is bad and it's ugly, and boy, I feel sorry for the seller. I mean, good for him for representing it properly, or her. But boy, that's it. It ain't worth three, I'm afraid. So moving on. Here we have a Gulfstar 43, which, man, what a classic. It's from 1979, center cockpit. This is a Mark II catch with furler and a very, very long description here, which I think is suitable for, a boat of this size. And, he's asking real money for it. It's $70,000 for a boat that is, what is that, 50 years old, 40 years old, 47 years old. Good Medicine is a 1979 Gulfstar 43 Mark II center cockpit, kept on the Great Lakes its entire life, never touched seawater. Saltwater, that's actually a big benefit. Stuff rots so much more quickly um, in saltwater. 5 sailing seasons of owner. I'm going to skip through this because a lot of it is just sort of his experience with the boat. Um, but there's definitely lots of extras. This is a big boat, 43 feet LOA, 11-foot beam, and approximately 23,000 pounds. All B&G electronics, new in 2018. That's nice. Triton 2 sailing instruments, transducer, wind wand, broadband, 12-inch Zeus radar, autopilot, factory built Raymarine autopilot. Rebuilt in 2022. Battery monitor, mechanical and electrical. Does he say what the hours are on the engine? It does not appear so. So 54 horsepower diesel has substantial has a substantial engine. Professionally rebuilt transmission, automatic fire extinguisher, Magnatech. I think that is supposed to be NA. Power battery, converter battery charger. 12-volt shift systems, 110 volt AC, integral fuel tank. I'm going to scoot along here because we got a long way to go. Center cockpit with full Dodger, bimini. Windows on the side and the back roll up to allow screen ventilation. Premium isinglass for clear vision underway. Cockpit cushions. Got a big anchor windlass, 3-blade max prop feathering. That's a nice feature. Gulfstar 43 was built in Florida, solid glass hull and deck, sandwiched with balsa. Yacht specialties pedestal with destroyer type. Wheel and engine controls on the pedestal with a Ritchie 5-inch compass. Hull stripped and painted with VC Offshore in 2023, then touched up with 2 additional coats in 2025. I'm a big fan of VC Offshore. It's very slick. It's kind of more for racing paint because it's very slick. Sails and rigging. Winches are rebuilt in 2025. He doesn't say what age these sails are, but we've got a UK mainsail, a Hood 150, Hood and UK mizens. Nice newer working jib as well. I think you should put in your ages of those things. Open maintenance. This is a nice little, if I was going to own the boat, these are the things I would do. Let's go look at the pictures. This is a big yacht. There's lots and lots of room. I've always liked these. Gulfstar made, I believe they made a 44 and a 50, and they were just voluminous. They're just huge inside. This is probably not the fastest sailing boat you've ever been on, but this is, look at the quality of the fit and finish in here. Look at this cap rail. That is really pretty. And this, I don't know what you call that, trim. Um, this would be some kind of structural component. But the interior of this yacht is really, really nice. And they painted this blue, which I think is just highly suitable. You've got obviously a U-shaped galley we're hopefully going to get to in a minute. We've got a nice little nav station over here. I wonder if there's a fold out chair that you can sit on. And then you've got passageway back to the aft cabin. Looks like a very nice setup for your galley. Lots of places to brace yourself if you were trying to cook underway. Um, do we get a better picture? Yes, we do. So cold storage, two burner with oven, double sink. Um, these kind of struck me as very plain considering the quality of some of the rest of this finish work, but I mean, they look like they're in nice shape. Unlike the last boat we just saw, there's absolutely no indication of leakage around these windows. Here is your AC and DC circuit board. And here's your beautiful aft cabin. What a lovely place to spend some time. Opening port lights, that's very nice. Lots of light given the age of it. Um, in this day and age, you'd probably have more windows here above the waterline. Um, and I love that this isn't an athwartship's berth because if I'm going to sleep with my wife, I don't want either one of us to have to climb over the other to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, which at our ages is fairly frequent. I don't love this because hard to cuddle, but I'd much rather have this sort of backwards V berth than to have the berth run port starboard and yeah, climb over each other in the middle of the night. No bueno. Pretty sure this is a two head boat, so this is the aft head. Pretty squishy, but looks like everything's there. I can't see if there's a shower nozzle, but you do have a grate, so I'm going to assume that that it does have a shower. Very old school pump handle on that sucker. I'll bet that's original. Hopefully, it's been reworked. Nice storage. Again, impressed with the quality of the finish work. You've got a beautiful bronze port light here. Open that, get some fore and aft ventilation. This is in your passageway to the main salon, and there it is. So this gets you into your engine room. Some nice storage here. There's your little seat. There's a seat. That's clever. Um, Great place for overflow storage from your aft cabin, or maybe that's pantry for food. Here's your second head. This one looks like it has a slightly different pump. Um, Definitely have shower here with a shower curtain. Very nice. Very, very nice. Now we've gone outside. Teak grate. A lot of nice details in this yacht. A lot of nice details. Here's your V berth fore cabin. Looks like a really nice ventilated hanging locker. And your B&G electronics. Yeah, it's not state of the art. It's not 2026, but certainly better than a lot of these we see. I love this picture. So let's show people what it looks like at night with the lights all on. You actually have yourself a little seat here. What a nice place for your best friends to come hang out with you on your yacht on Lake Michigan. Um, this was new air conditioning that was in the description, so that's nice. And then an absolutely spectacular Chamber of Commerce picture. I do love when they show, yeah, this could be you. Great ad, very very nice boat. I think 70,000 is entirely reasonable given the quality of it. Um, and I'm going to move on to the next one, which is going to be a little shorty guy because it's this guy. There's actually two day sailors for sale in this area. I used to own a day sailor, so these are near and dear to my heart. And I just when I saw this, I was like, "Holy cow! Look at the quality here." Um, Timeless, family friendly. O'Day's sold something like 10,000 of these, and I think someone is still manufacturing them somewhere. Um, Joy to sail in light to moderate winds, stable and forgiving. I can tell you from personal experience that this has a lot of what they call form stability. This boat is only about 600 pounds, but because of the way the aft end of this is designed, it's very very stable compared to a lot of dinghies this in this size. Hull's in excellent condition, no soft spots, sails are crisp and like new, swing centerboard, easy to raise and lower. But look at these photos, because whoever worked on this really took their time and I think did a nice job with it. That actually looks like a new sticker because this is a late 70s boat. They redid their little grab handle. I'm not a fan of yellow, but I think this looks really nice. Some nice Schaefer turning block. I'm betting all that works just like brand new. Um, yeah, I mean, there's no rust. There's not even any pitting on this stainless. Yeah, look at the finish on that baby. Woof. And I did that once, not in yellow, but I did the bottom on my day sailor. Um, didn't look like that, but it was not that beautiful. Yeah, wow. I love this boat. This is such a pretty little day sailor. Um, he's got a little trolling motor that would be more than enough unless it's howling. All the details are just someone's really taken good care of this and that did a really great job refinishing it. It's funny because the trailer makes it look kind of dumpy because the trailer's all rusted out. That needs a new coat of yellow paint. Oh, you even have little cockpit cushions. Here are your sails. I'm not sure why you would show them. This is a better picture. Um, yeah, great shape. Stitching's all really nice and crispy new. Um, that is a really nice listing. I love it. Um, yeah, if you were looking for something easy to tow and easy to get your mast up, mast isn't huge. The 575 pounds, it's probably barely 1,000 on the trailer. You could literally tow this with anything, any kind of car with a hitch. Your Toyota Prius. All right, that's it for today. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this little excursion into the Upper Midwest. There were a lot of nice boats, and there were some really ugly ones, which is why I started this channel because I love looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of them. So that's it, and see you next time.